Welcome to Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. I'm Bill Polinick, your host. I'm glad you could join us today. Before we get started, I want to remind you that a Night of Champions is coming real soon. It's an annual event for CHI St. Alexius Health. Follow them on Facebook and listen for more details coming soon. It's scheduled for November 7th, so mark that date on your calendar for a Night of Champions. Promises made, promises kept. Have you ever heard that on the radio or seen it on TV or read it on a Ford sign somewhere? Promises made, promises kept is a slogan that Brad Fong doesn't take lightly. And he's going to be our guest today, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the history of Parkway Ford and the Fong family and a lot more. We've been looking forward to this interview for quite some time, and we're so glad that Brad can join us today here on the program. We appreciate his time, and I think you're going to learn a lot about the history of Fords in southwestern North Dakota. And I like to put it as faith, family, friends, Fords, Fongs. How about that? We put it in a letter for you. We'll explain all the above coming up on Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson, and our program starts now. CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson presents Western Edge Living. Western Edge Living. And we are back on Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. I'm Bill Polinick. You know, there's a lot of things you could be doing right now, but here you are watching Western Edge Living. Thank you for that. And let's meet our guest for today. It's Brad Fong.
Hi, Bill.
Parkway Ford, promises made, promises kept. What would you be doing if I hadn't called you to sit in that chair today?
Well, I have a pretty good life. I piddle a little bit with I have a man cave, and I'd be watering the lawn or mowing the grass or maybe even playing golf. In the mornings, I play a little pickleball. But during the day, I usually have no trouble filling the day with little projects.
You earned the right to do that sort of thing at this stage in your life. First of all, how many grandkids do you have?
Well, we have 12.
12 grandkids.
10 of them live in Dickinson and 2 of them live in Chicago.
Oh, man. And you spend I'm guessing you spend as much time as you possibly can with them, huh?
Well, I'm the fill-in guy. And if they need somebody to take care of them, I'm not real good with diapers and little ones, but the one, I have 3 9-year-old little boys that I take them to baseball games and I take them to golf and so on and so forth. And the girls, they have friends and dancers and stuff like that. So they keep us busy.
If you don't know, Brad is part of the family that built the legacy of Parkway Ford in Dickinson. Been around, for many, many years. It's now Red Rock Ford. But let's go back. You mentioned you have a 9-year-old grandson. What were you doing when you were 9 years old? Were you in the car business yet?
Well, I would say 9, I was a little bit young. But when I would regularly come to the dealership. My dad had a used car dealership at the time called Gene's Motor Sales.
I just saw you doing some math.
Yeah. So I was about 12 years old when I thought I would go down there, and I thought I was helpful because I would have a broom when I got to sweep the floor. And a little bit older, I could then drive the cars inside the building and I could vacuum them. So I think I started out when I was 12, and I sold Parkway Ford in 2017. So between I was 62 at the time. I was trying to do the math, 2 sets of math there, but I was 50 years in the car business.
Wow.
So I started out at 12 and I was sold out when I was 62. So I would claim 50 years of being in the car business.
So actually, your father, Gene Fong,
right? He
started Gene's Auto Sales, I believe, where E&G Lending is now.
Yeah, it's called Gene's Motor Sales.
Gene's Motor Sales.
And that was in 1963.
Okay.
He started that. Prior to that, he'd worked for Parkway Ford as a salesman.
I see.
And he built a good relationship with a gentleman by the name of Earl Gustafson.
Okay.
And Earl Gustafson said, Gene said to Earl, well, I'm quitting Parkway Ford as a salesman and I'm going to go out on my own. And Earl says, well, good luck, Gene, but if you ever want to come back to Parkway, you're welcome to come back and sell for us again. 13 years later, Mr. Gustafson came to my dad and said, I want to sell out, and I want to sell out to Eugene.
Wow.
And at that time, I was 21 years old and had just dropped out of college because I wasn't interested in going to school anymore. So I was with my dad at Gene's Motor Sales, and then in 1976, then we went out to what's known as where Parkway Ford was located for until 2017.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like if you wanted, even back then, was it a thing where if you want to start a Ford dealership, you can't just do that? I mean, you have to have approval from the company, and there's a set of standards and rules and things. How does that work?
Well, way back in 1960, Ward Johnson Ford burned down.
Okay.
So there was, Mr. Johnson had the franchise, and he decided not to rebuild. So he sold out to Earl Gustafson and a couple other partners, and they then formed Parkway Ford in 1960. So from 1960 to 1975, it was located downtown, on Villard, where Charbonneau's has a reconditioning center now, and Allen's Decorating just moved into that building.
Okay.
But that's where Parkway Ford was from 1960 to 1975. They ran that building from a gentleman named Defoe. But then in 1975, they moved out east town, just a little across the street from where John Deere is.
Okay, and continuing on that thought I had, when they moved out there, built a brand new facility out there, again, Ford had to kind of oversee that before they'd sign off on it, right?
Yeah, if when I wanted to sell out Parkway Ford, the Red Rock people had the three things that qualified. They wanted to buy the dealership, they had the money, and they had approval from Ford to be the Ford dealer.
Okay.
I could meet somebody with a fortune and they could buy me out, but if they don't have the experience to run a dealership, Ford wouldn't grant them a franchise.
They have control over that brand, don't they?
Yeah. You don't buy a franchise. You're granted a franchise under approval. You buy the business from somebody else. That's how that goes. But you just can't move to Killdeer and say, I think I want a Ford store in Killdeer, because there's a lot of people up there that are underserved. You've got to have grant the franchise from Ford, and they have territories and size of the market and so on and so forth.
You have a letter hanging in your man cave, your little shop, and it's from Ford, and it announces that you have been approved to become a Ford dealership. Yep. Do you remember when that letter came? That had to have been huge. That had to have been cause for celebration, huh?
Yeah, we started applying for the franchise in April of '76. And then we got the letter in September 1, 1976. Wow. So we took over September 1, 1976, and then sold out in August 1, 2017. So 1 month short of 41 years.
Wow. And the vehicle, the product itself, I mean, you remember the old 65 Mustangs, I'm sure, and the line of pickup trucks. I think they were the number one selling truck for many, many years.
Well, Ford claims that they're the best-selling truck for 48 years in a row.
Yeah.
And it started in like about 77 is when it really started. But I'm back. I was in the car business so long where radios were an option, and then at AM/FM, then at AM/FM with a 8-track, AM/FM with a cassette, and then came CDs, and now it's Sirius. And so that's how long of a radios. You could just tell how long I was in the business by what the radios were like.
My dad had a 1970 half-ton pickup truck, and he always joked that the only options he had were keys and heat.
Keys and heat.
So you've seen the product itself evolve over the years. That had to have been exciting, huh? Each year when they debut the new models.
Oh yeah, we always have an intro show. You know, that was a big thing back in those days. We even had to hide the cars before show day. And then when it was officially show day, you brought them into the showroom.
It's a big deal.
And you had an open house, and kids would come. I can remember as a junior high kid going down to when it was Saks on the corner and Charbonneau's and see the new cars, and even across the street over to Ford. It was usually about the third week in September is when that would happen, and they'd have the models, and then it was always an exciting day for somebody who was a car kid.
Looking back at being part of Gene's Motor Sales and then Parkway Ford and all that, what stands out as a highlight for you personally?
Well, I always like to make deals. Somebody would come in my day, and they would know the Fong family or Parkway Ford or be a Ford loyal guy, and they'd have it narrowed down to want to buy something with 4 wheels. So I'd say, well, who's going to drive it? What are you going to use it for? And what are you going to haul? And so you then help them pick out what they want. And then in making something work for their budget and make something work for their need, that was the fun part, really was. In fact, I came in the dealership as a salesman. Then I got to be the sales manager. Then I got to be the general manager. And I got to be the president. But the thing I liked to do the most was putting deals together. And I didn't mind actually working Saturdays. We always were open 6 days a week because Saturdays was a good day for me to work because I wasn't doing management things Monday through Friday like a normal general manager or dealer principal had to do. So Saturday, I could work with a customer and maybe put a deal together. That's what I really like to do. And I also was in a rotation with my salesmen, so they would get a Saturday off too because it was sometimes a 6 day a week job.
I'd have to think, though, when you have a family sitting around your desk and you're signing the bottom line and the excitement. Did you share that excitement with families? And
oh, yeah.
They're getting a new car. We're going on vacation. Oh, boy, huh?
Yeah, you could see where people would get really hyped. And that's what you enjoyed about making somebody happy and maybe getting something more than they thought they could get. And or being a crisis, something broke down, and they were on a vacation or a trip or something, and they had to want to keep going. And what could we do? Well, come on in and sit down. Let's see what I can do to help you get on the road or help you continue on your journey.
When we come back, I want to ask you about the slogan, Promises Made, Promises Kept, and your commitment to the community of southwestern North Dakota and the city of Dickinson. The things that you've done are remarkable. We'll talk about that as we visit with Brad Fong, Parkway Ford, Promises Made, Promises Kept, and we'll be back in just a moment. I promise, here on Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. Thanks so much for making us part of your viewing today. We are Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. I'm Bill Polnick, and we're visiting with my longtime friend, Brad Fong. We did a lot of work together in the radio business, and Promises Made, Promises Kept. We're always on the script that I would read for the commercials for Parkway Ford. So who came up with that slogan?
Well, I really can't directly contribute to one person, but we all kind of put our heads together, and I think I heard some ideas and I put it all together and I came up with
Listen,
that.
You're being humble. Yeah. I know all the radio salespeople that you worked with. You're the one.
Yeah.
You're the one that came up with that, and that's something that's you got to live up to that. When you say we make promises and we're going to keep them, you got to follow up.
Well, it's kind of like if I sold you a new truck, Bill, and you were ready to take delivery, but it maybe needed a set of tires, and we couldn't get the tires that day. I'd say to you, well, Bill, come on back next weekend, but we'll put those new tires on, and you would take the truck today and bring it back. So we promised to do something with the deal, and we kept our promises.
Followed up. Yeah.
Followed up on with it. Yep.
Okay, well, you've done wonderful, and you handed the baton on to Red Rock, and they continue to, provide quality vehicles for the folks in southwestern North Dakota. And speaking of that, the community of Dickinson, you've been here your whole entire life. You continue to spend your golden years here, and the things that you've contributed to in Medora, in Dickinson, is remarkable, and the list is pretty impressive. Everything from the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame to the Stark County Veterans Memorial and things like that. That's got to feel good to be able to do that. One other entity that I wanted to mention too was the Southwest Art Gallery and Science Center. You helped those folks get started. You're to be commended for that. I mean, giving back to the community the way you have, wow, that's got to feel great, Brad.
Well, I was lucky. My dad was born in Belfield. My mother was born in Beach. So Western North Dakota was really good to the Fong family. Reputations kind of came from the West. And so when I sold out the business, I was really lucky. I didn't have to sell out and leave town. So I was able to stay in town. And I had a little jingle in my pocket. And so it's along the way, Parkway Ford sponsored some things, teams and buildings and so on and so forth. So it was a lot of Parkway Ford money that I earned from the people in southwestern North Dakota. So I'm giving back to those people. And, little things like the Veterans Pavilion, everybody loves to contribute to the veterans, but I had the first fundraising event at Parkway Ford for the veterans when they launched their effort to build the Veterans Pavilion. So I'll take credit for that. And it was just a small thing, but I got recognized that from Ford, and they sent me off to Florida to get a little plaque for starting out that project. And it was kind of fun. And so things like that to be a part of. I didn't do all those things by myself. I was just a small part of big things, you know.
Wow. That's amazing, and it's got to make your heart just feel wonderful to be able to do that, to have the ability to do that, and then giving back to your community. It's got to be just fantastic. But what about the role? We talked about you as a student. We talked about you as a salesman, general manager, president of the company. What about the title that you have of grandfather? That's got to be the best. Save the best for last, huh?
Well, I have to give a lot of credit to my wife because I wasn't able to work 6 days a week without my wife at home taking care of the kids. I missed a lot of things at home because I was working. But now that I'm retired at 62 and we started having grandkids kind of right away, and so we kind of team effort taking care of the grandkids. She does the cooking and things like that. I try and do a little bit of entertaining. She's better with the younger ones. I'm a little better with the older ones, but we work together at it. And I'm just the helper when it comes time to babysitting with the kids. We don't call them babies anymore. We call daycare, grandpa and grandma daycare.
All right, Grandpa. What age ranges are we talking here?
Oh, we had a newborn in June, the month of June, and we had one graduated from high school this spring. So we have an range from 1 month to 18 years old. Mm-hmm. So, and most of them I think we have 9 of them 12 years old and under.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said most of them are in Dickinson?
Yeah, we have a daughter that lives in Chicago,
okay.
And she has a little boy that'll be 3 in about 10 days, and has a little girl that was born in the month of June.
Wow.
The other ones are all right in Dickinson. So we have a set of twins, and we have, so of the 12, we have 7 boys and 5 girls.
All those chairs that have the grandkids' names on them, you built those yourself, huh?
Well, yeah, it was just kind of, I had some free time, and one thing I haven't lost, and I'm really thankful for, I haven't lost my ambition. I still have a desire to get up in the morning and go do something, and my wife is not used to me being at home. So I had to find my own place to get up and go to, because when I retired, I was not ready to sit at home and read the paper and help around the house, because my wife takes care of all the things at home, all the duties at home, the day-to-day things. So I wasn't comfortable sitting around home. I was actually in the way when she's doing her routine. So I had to go someplace, and then I had that chair you sat in where it said promises made. I got that pattern, and I made it a little bit smaller for an individual chair. And they're about 3/4 the size of a regular chair, and they're made out of real heavy 2x4s, and so they don't tip over, and they're about 3/4 size so the kids can sit up on them. And if they spill on them, they're made out of Trex tops and stuff, so we don't have a mess. We have a lot of family get-togethers out at my man cave, because we have the room, and we don't want to. The kids can play in the shop or play outside, and we can have entertainment up front.
I got to tell you, sitting in this chair talking to you, Brad, I'm looking at a man that is truly blessed. Yeah. You had a great career. Yeah. You know, from when you first started in the automobile business and went through Parkway Ford, and then, you know, you got the resources to do what you've done for the community, and now you've got a facility where you can enjoy your grandchildren, and we talked about this a little bit off camera. You're also a healthy man too. You're feeling good. You're looking great. Man, I want to be a Brad Fong when I grow up, whenever that happens.
Well, like I said, I got a lot of help from my wife. I was 32 when my dad died. So
wow. Okay.
I had to take the ship from age 32 to 62. But and I had a lot of help along the way with good bankers and good advisors and good accountants. And I was good at selling cars, but there's a lot more to running a dealership than selling cars.
Yeah.
I had to get some advice from good people, and I had some really good help along the way.
Yeah. Is there any question that I have not asked you, some information that you'd like to share with our viewers today, Brad?
Well, you could mention my mother.
Okay. Tell us about Mom.
Well, Mom's been in the car business longer than I have. Mom's been in the car business probably like about 70 years, because she married my father, and my dad was a 7-day-a-week car guy. So my mom always was my dad's fill-in person to pick him up when he sold a car out in the country and needed a ride home, my mom had to go get him, or my mom would help him shuttle cars home when he had the used car lot. And she kept us she worked at the courthouse for over 30 years and brought in a steady paycheck, health insurance, and things you need for home. Well, Gene was trying to build the business up because everything my dad made stayed in the business. My mother covered us at home and took good care of it. And so my mother and I started having lunch together, almost probably 40 years ago on Thursdays. I would go over and take the garbage out, and then at noon I'd put it back and, want to stay for lunch. So even today, my mother is, I can say this, 91 and a half years old. I have lunch and do errands with my mother on Thursday afternoons. But my mother is the patriarch of the family now, since my dad's been gone so long. So
There's
my mother,
another.
she talks the car. She wants to talk about the car business all the time. What's new in the business?
There's another layer of you being blessed. Your mother is still with you today. That's awesome. So, you talked about you had the ability to help the community and help people in the community. I had some health issues, and there was some fundraisers that came along, and I saw that you helped me as well. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm grateful for you. And I appreciate you and everything that you've done for the community.
Well, yeah, thanks a lot. And like I said, I'm probably the luckiest guy in the world because I'm healthy, got a little jingle in my pocket, and got family around, and reasonably liked in the community. I don't have to hide from too many people, so I feel pretty lucky that, like, wherever I go. In fact, sometimes when I go downtown, I see an older businessman. They'll say, "Hi, Gene, how are you?" And that's a compliment because they remember my dad, and he was well liked, and of course all the things we were involved in. We just are pretty well known in the communities, and we have to behave.
I'm proud to know you, Brad.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for your time today. We could go on and on and on, but we're limited. But thanks for what you've offered us here today and giving us a little snapshot of your life. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much for asking.
This is Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. We'll see you next time.
Western Edge Living.